Do you think you know all the oddities of Russia? Imagine a winter festival where Russians dive into frozen waters, but that's just the beginning. They've also created a booty-slapping competition between women, where the goal is to stay standing without falling. Now, want something even more unbelievable? They have a holiday called Conception Day, where couples are encouraged to make babies, and those who have a child 9 months later can even win prizes. And that's just the start. Get ready to discover 11 bizarre things that only exist in Russia that you've surely never imagined. In Russia, there is a significant imbalance in the number of men and women. For every 100 women, there are only 86 men. One of the main reasons for this difference is linked to the country's history. Russia went through very intense wars in the last century, especially World War II. During that war, millions of Russian men lost their lives, which caused a substantial imbalance between the number of men and women. Even decades later, this difference has not been fully corrected. Another important factor is that, on average, Russian men have a lower life expectancy than women. Men in Russia live shorter lives for various reasons, such as health problems related to excessive alcohol and tobacco consumption, heart disease, and accidents. In many parts of Russia, especially in urban areas, there are many women living alone because their husbands or partners have already passed away. In rural areas, the situation can be even more extreme, with few options of men, which affects social dynamics and even marriage. This imbalance has various impacts on Russian society. There are more women than men of marriageable age, which means many women remain single or widowed for longer periods. Due to this, many of these women are encouraged to seek marriage with foreigners, as there are few available Russian men. Russian women are globally known for their beauty and elegance. One of the factors behind this reputation is the care they dedicate to their appearance. Many keep their skin well maintained, take care of their hair, and enjoy dressing well, even for everyday tasks. They make an effort to always look put together, which highlights their natural beauty even more. Besides their physical appearance, the way they carry themselves also contributes to this image of beauty. Many Russian women have a confident posture and elegant walk, conveying a striking presence. Another interesting aspect is the diversity of styles among Russian women, which varies by region. In large cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, the look tends to be more modern and urban, while in rural areas, a simpler and more traditional style prevails, but equally graceful. The booty-slapping championship between women originated in 2009 in Siberia and was inspired by the popular face-slapping challenge. This event has gained attention, particularly on social media, where its unusual nature attracts public curiosity. In the challenge, two women face each other, and the one on the offensive delivers an open-handed slap on the other's backside. The intensity of the slap can vary, but the one receiving it must stay firm and keep her balance. If one of the competitors falls or gives up due to pain or discomfort, the other wins. Although it might seem like a joke, the competition follows clear rules to ensure the participants' safety, avoiding serious injuries. Besides being entertaining, the atmosphere is light and full of laughter, which helps create a relaxed vibe. This is why the event draws so much attention, combining competitive spirit with a dose of humor and entertainment. On November 30th, 2023, Russia's Supreme Court made a controversial decision, as Russian authorities classified an LGBTQIA+ rights organization as extremist. This measure led to a ban on any activities related to the group within the country. The decision sparked reactions, especially from human rights organizations and activists, who expressed concern about the impact of this ban on people in the LGBTQIA+ community in Russia. The country already has several laws restricting the promotion of content considered LGBT propaganda, and this new ban is seen as another step in repressing gender equality movements. The banned organization was known for promoting rights and protecting LGBTQIA+ individuals, advocating for legal and social changes to foster respect for diversity. However, Russian authorities justified the decision by claiming that the group's activities did not comply with the country's laws and represented a threat to social order. Since this decision, activists have been concerned about the future of the LGBTQIA+ community in Russia, fearing that restrictions will continue to increase. This could create an even more challenging environment for those seeking support or wishing to express their identity. Conception Day in Russia is a holiday created to combat the population decline that Russia has faced, especially since the fall of the Soviet Union. This event is celebrated on September 12th and was an initiative launched in 2007 by the government of the Ulyanovsk region. The idea behind the day is to encourage couples to have children, thus increasing the birth rate. The date is not an official holiday across the country, but in some regions, like Ulyanovsk, it is considered a special day. On this day, public employees and workers in state companies may even get the day off to stay home with their families, and the intention is for couples to use this time to consider the conception of a new life. Besides offering a day off, some regions have even created incentives for couples who have children exactly 9 months after this date, on Russia Day, celebrated on June 12th. Prizes have ranged from cars to household appliances, all as a way to encourage the birth of more children. Despite these creative attempts and financial incentives, Russia still faces alarmingly low birth rates, currently around 1.5 children per woman, well below the replacement rate of 2.1 needed to keep the population stable. In 2014, a law was passed banning the use of profanity in cultural productions, such as films, theater, books, and music. The stated goal of this law was to preserve Russian culture and traditional values, as well as to protect the public, especially children, from exposure to language considered inappropriate. Works containing profanity became subject to fines of up to $1,700 and, in some cases, can even be banned from distribution in certain media. The law requires that material be modified or accompanied by specific language warnings, limiting its display to audiences over 18. This law had a particular impact on the music and film industry. Rap artists, for example, often use raw and direct language to talk about life struggles and social issues. With the ban, many of these musicians have faced challenges in expressing themselves freely. Some began creating censored versions of their songs to be able to release them in the market, while others chose to keep their original language and faced restrictions on distribution. In cinema, the use of profanity is also heavily regulated. Films containing inappropriate language must undergo edits or receive content warnings that limit their audience. This has led to discussions among filmmakers who believe that profanity is an important part of artistic expression and that restricting this language could compromise the authenticity of their works. Many directors argue that in certain scenes, profanity is necessary to convey genuine emotions or portray real-life situations faithfully. Despite the restrictions, profanity continues to appear creatively in Russian art. Some artists find ways to work around the rules by substituting profanities with slang or less offensive expressions that still carry the same emotional impact. Others, however, see these limitations as an obstacle to freedom of expression and continue to criticize the laws that regulate artistic language in the country. Never give an even number of flowers to Russian women. In Russia, even numbers of flowers are traditionally associated with funerals and mourning ceremonies. For this reason, giving an even number of flowers to a woman can be seen as inappropriate or even disrespectful. If a Russian woman received a bouquet with an even number of flowers, she might feel uncomfortable or even offended. This kind of gesture may unintentionally convey a negative message, as even numbers of flowers are seen as symbols of death or sadness. To them, an even number of flowers may be interpreted as bad luck, given the custom of bringing pairs of flowers to graves. Therefore, when giving a Russian woman flowers, it's important to present an odd number, like 3, 5, 7, or 9 flowers, ensuring that the gift is seen as a positive and respectful gesture. Marriage to prisoners in Russia. In Russia, marriage to prisoners is a phenomenon that, in some cases, is related to necessity rather than just affection. Russia has one of the largest prison populations in the world, and marrying prisoners can be motivated by various practical factors beyond emotional or romantic ties. One primary reason for these marriages is financial need and protection. For many women in Russia, especially in rural areas or those with fewer economic opportunities, marrying a prisoner may be a way to gain some form of material support. Once married, some wives can access certain benefits, such as conjugal visits that allow private moments with their husbands and the right to receive financial help from the prisoner if he is working within the prison. Another key factor is the desire for social stability. In a society where marriage is still valued, some women see marriage to a prisoner as a way to avoid the stigma of prolonged singleness. Even though their husband is incarcerated, being married can offer a social status that may be viewed more positively than that of a single woman, especially in more conservative communities. In some cases, marriage also provides certain legal protections. Wives of prisoners may have more rights regarding property or health care, which can be crucial in extreme circumstances. On the other hand, there are also stories of women who marry prisoners out of a belief that they can help them reintegrate into society or out of empathy for the hardships these men face. Some of these women hope that, once released, their husbands can start a new life with them and build a family. The lack of freedom and government control in Russia. Government control and the lack of freedom in Russia are widely discussed both within and outside the country. The Russian government, especially under Vladimir Putin's leadership, has been known for strict control over various aspects of society, directly impacting individual and collective freedom for its citizens. One of the primary areas where this control is visible is the media. In Russia, most major television channels and newspapers are under direct or indirect government control, meaning that the information broadcast to the public is carefully filtered, and criticism of the government is rarely shown on a large scale. The government also censors content deemed threats to stability, restricting access to news or opinions that might challenge it. This makes it difficult for the population to access independent sources of information or hear viewpoints that criticize state actions. Another important point is the restriction of freedom of expression and the right to protest. In Russia, demonstrations and protests are often restricted or harshly repressed. Organizing a protest requires government permission, and even so, protests are frequently dispersed by police. Participants in unauthorized protests may be arrested or fined, discouraging many people from becoming politically active or expressing dissatisfaction with the government. Surveillance is also a significant aspect of government control in Russia. The government has electronic monitoring mechanisms that track citizens' communications, including phone calls and internet use. This surveillance is often justified as a national security measure, but it can also be used to control dissidents and government critics. People who speak out against the government, whether online or publicly, risk being monitored and, in extreme cases, arrested. Ice water diving tradition in Russia. In Russia, a curious winter tradition is ice diving during the Orthodox Epiphany festival, held in January. On this day, many people gather to dive into cross-shaped holes cut into the ice of lakes and rivers. These holes are blessed by priests before the dives begin. For many, the water on this day is considered sacred, and diving is seen as a way to cleanse the soul and strengthen the body. Despite below-zero temperatures, thousands of people of all ages participate in this ritual every year. Some do it for religious reasons, while others see it as a test of endurance to the cold or simply as part of the tradition. Before entering the water, most make the sign of the cross and say a short prayer. Then they immerse themselves 3 times, symbolizing the Holy Trinity. Although the shock of the icy water is intense, many say they feel a sense of renewal and energy upon emerging. Even in big cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, crowds gather to participate or simply watch the ritual. Emergency crews stand by to ensure the safety of the divers, as despite its popularity, the extreme cold can be dangerous. Vodka as a home remedy in Russia. In Russia, vodka is more than just an alcoholic drink. It is often used as a home remedy for different situations. Many people believe vodka can help treat colds, flu, and even muscle aches. One of the most common practices is rubbing vodka on the chest or back to warm up the body and relieve discomfort. It's also common to take a small shot of vodka with pepper to ease flu symptoms, such as a sore throat. Another use is for disinfecting wounds. Due to its high alcohol content, some Russians use it to clean small cuts and scrapes, especially in areas where other disinfectants may not be readily available. On extremely cold days, some believe that drinking a bit of vodka helps warm up the body quickly, though doctors warn that this practice can be dangerous as it only gives a false sense of warmth. Additionally, some people use vodka to relieve joint pain, rubbing it directly on the sore areas. Although there are no scientific studies proving the effectiveness of many of these uses, vodka is seen by many Russians as a simple and accessible solution for minor everyday health issues. This tradition is passed down from generation to generation, and even today, in some regions, vodka remains one of the most commonly used remedies at home. And that's it for the video. Which of these Russian curiosities surprised you the most? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a like.